Sri Krishna said to Balaram, this is from the 15th chapter of the 10th canto, today, this land, along with all its green grass, has become fortunate due to receiving the touch of your lotus feet. And receiving the touch of the fingers of your lotus hands, the trees, creepers, and bushes consider that they have attained the greatest treasure. Receiving your affectionate glances, the rivers, mountains, birds, and animals are all feeling fully satisfied. But most fortunate of all are the Braj Gopis, who have been embraced by your strong chest, a favor which even Lakshmi Devi, the goddess of fortune in Vaikuntha, always desires. Now, this is a verse by Krishna to Balaram, but it really doesn't apply to Balaram, it applies to Krishna himself. So that's because Krishna is now approaching his teenager age. And therefore he's getting shy to glorify himself. So he's turning the attention off of himself and onto Balaram. But really it all applies to him. When Krishna is playing, he gives the trees so much fortune by climbing up on them. They get his embrace, they get his legs, his feet, as he's jumping up on the trees. So the trees are like friends. They're not quite on the level of friends, but they're like friends. In Goloka Vrindavan, even though in other places like Vaikuntha, the trees and the birds and the animals, the creepers, the rivers, mountains, are all in what's called Shanta Ras, or neutral relation. That is, they don't have such a rapturous, intimate relationship like a friend or a servant or particularly as a parent or a beloved. But when those same mountains, trees, rivers, creepers are in Goloka Vrindavan, then they also have something of the mood of the higher rasas. So the trees are thinking like friends of Krishna and how fortunate they are. And the creepers, when Krishna either pulls a flower from a creeper or even just brushes against the creeper as he's running by, the creepers are in the mood of a beloved, not like his real beloveds, but there's some semblance of the mood of a beloved. And they become all shy. And they immediately, you know how when a girl becomes shy and she starts blushing and smiling in ways that she's trying to cover. So the creepers, they start blushing in the form of an outburst of new flowers. And generally, like in this world, if the leaves and twigs of a tree are kind of shivering, it's because it's very windy. But there, it's because of being touched or even glanced upon by Krishna. When the twigs are moving in Vrindavan, the twigs are, like here in the West, we generally call people over like this. Well, in India, they call people over like this. So they're calling over the bees and attracting the bees by the fragrance of their blooming flowers, which are actually made of prem. And then the bees go there and sit on those flowers made of prem and become intoxicated. And then they start singing all the beautiful glories of Krishna. In this painting of Kornatai, somewhere. I saw it the other day. Here. It's everywhere. Yeah, it's there on the songbook. So, while I was doing the painting, Gurudev told me that those trees up there,
bleached already. Such much sunlight in the past years.
Yeah. So you can see the roots coming from that one tree and the leaves, and they're all going like this, where Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is dancing, because they're consciously fanning him to make breezes for him. Everybody's fully conscious there and in great rapture. Thanks. So the earth is called fortunate. The earth was not so fortunate, as we discussed the other night. The earth was not so fortunate, didn't feel herself so fortunate when Ram was there on earth, because Ram was weeping and Sita was weeping. But Krishna and Balaram and the other boys are jumping around in happiness with the cows, so that on his bare feet. So the earth is feeling so much fortunate. And the peacocks too. They're feeling so fortunate as they see Krishna dancing. As they see Krishna playing his flute, they immediately start dancing wildly, and they put their tail feathers out, way out like a fan, and start twirling and dancing. And when Krishna sees the peacocks dance, that makes him dance even more. And then that makes them dance even more. And Gurudev was explaining that when the theater performers, when they do some drama, then after the drama they pass around the hat. And you feel guilty and obliged to put something in there. But when a person really feels overwhelmed by a performance from his heart, then the first thing that he just takes out of his pocket without even looking, he just gives. So when those peacocks saw Krishna dancing, and especially playing his flute, they were so overwhelmed, and they thought, we're just poor peacocks, what can we give to Krishna? But we do have this peacock feather that's so valuable. Actually, the peacock feather has the name Radha on it. When Gurudev was telling us that, I was sitting in the front row in 1999 in Italy, and Gurudev was explaining how the peacock feather has the name Radha on it. And I called out, where's the name Radha? And then he goes like this, showing it further to me, and he said, you don't see it? So Krishna loves wearing the peacock feather. He was so grateful that that peacock dropped its feather at Krishna's lotus feet, and he immediately put it on his own head, the most valuable part of his body, and was so grateful to the peacock, because just like he's so grateful to the cows, because the cows give him an excuse to leave his home so that he can stealthily meet with the gopis. And the cows give him a way, another way, just another way, to look really debonair and charming when he milks them. Because when Radharani comes to cook for Krishna, she watches him from a very good place. She watches him as he's milking the cows, and he puts ghee on his fingers to make it really swishy. And then he very easily milks the cows and rubs the cows just to make Radharani more interested. So Krishna is very grateful to the cows, and he loves the cows. And he massages the calves and put them on his laps. So he's very grateful to the peacock, because when he wears the peacock feather, then the gopis are inspired by seeing the peacock feather. They know that the peacock and the peahen dance so beautifully together. So they become, Krishna's intention is that Shri Shri Radha Shyam Sundar ki jai, Shri Shri Gaurnitai ki jai. That is Giriraj Govardhan, isn't it? Yes. Ki jai. So Krishna's intention is that the gopis will become inspired to dance in the Rasa Leela dance. And when Krishna plays his flute in the Rasa Leela dance, what happens? His flute playing is so powerful that, do you know what a dundabi is? Did you ever go to the ISKCON temple in Mayapur? And they have these two instruments, Shahnai, and I think they also have the dundabi, and it makes this fantastic horn sound. It's just incredible. And I don't know, they had it in some little box tower, so I never really saw it. But when Krishna plays his flute, those sounds automatically vibrate. Those sounds automatically vibrate throughout the sky. Nobody's playing them. It's just the power of his flute playing and the power of his beautiful, sweet singing. Not only that, but beautiful flowers start falling from the sky. Not even that even demigods are throwing the flowers. They just start happening. And Gurudev was explaining how this even can happen in the material world, where if somebody can sing good enough, the power of his singing has mystic powers, and they can produce rain, and they can produce fire. And he told the story of Baiju Babari, who was a singer, and there was a law that only Tansing can sing in Delhi. And if anybody else sung in Delhi, they would have to enter into a competition. And if they lost the competition, they would be drowned in the Jamuna. So this one mad person, Gurudev said he was naked, he had dreadlocks, looking mad. He went to Delhi and he started singing. And everybody said to him, "Be careful, because you might be killed. Please stop singing." He said, "No, I'm going to sing. I sang, and I'm going to keep singing." So then finally the king got to him and said, "Don't you realize that now you'll have to enter into competition, and if you lose, you'll be drowned in the Jamuna?" He said, "Yes, let's have a competition." And the king said, "Yes, let's have a competition in my kingly assembly, and my queens will be the judge." So Baiju Babari said, "No, your queens are going to be prejudiced. Let's go to the forest and let all the animals be the judges." So the king said, "All right." And they took Tansang and Baiju Babari and the assembly of the king's associates. They all went to the forest, and Baiju Babari said to Tansang, "Okay, sing." He said, "No, you sing first." So he started singing, and all the animals, the deers, the rabbits, the birds, they all came to him and were completely mesmerized. Oh, and I forgot, he had told the king to bring lots of garlands. So the king brought lots of garlands. So he took the garlands and one, he garlanded all those animals.